So this is it, the final historical battle in Three Kingdoms, the invasion of Jing province in the summer of 219, Guan Yu versus Meng. This is ostensibly the most difficult of the six, and the circumstances of the fight seem to indicate towards that because this is an ambush, and it's the only ambush in the game out of the six. The last ambush I can remember from historical battles goes back to Teutoburg Forest in the original Rome, and it kind of reminds me of that. We're in column, and we get attacked from the right side, and we have to form up and defend or conserve our units, conserve our manpower, because we then get assaulted again on both sides. We get sandwiched by the reinforcements, and that's the real challenge in this, how to manage only a handful of units to deal with attackers on both sides where we're definitely caught right between them. And I think I have a pretty good optimization of how to handle that fight. I've already fought it, and I'm really happy with it. It's optimized like fuck. Really good job. Once again, I doubt anyone will be able to do better or really even come close. And I'm gonna be analysing it a little bit, looking at it, thinking about it, talking about it. So here's the backstory. Meng, under the banner of Sun Quan, continues his invasion of Jing province. After taking stewardship of some of Sun Quan's territory, Liu Bei finds himself at war when he refuses to return the lands under his care. Strained by war with both Cao Cao and Sun Quan, yet able to score victories all the same, Liu Bei feels emboldened. Threatened by this growing power, Cao Cao allies with Sun Quan to tackle the threat of Liu Bei. Together, the two kingdoms score successive victories against the Shu Han, isolating Guan Yu at Maicheng. Now, surrounded but never without hope, Guan Yu must break through this ambush if he is to have any chance of survival. So it's Guan Yu versus Meng for the final historical battle.
孙刘之盟难以长久，主公与孙权的盟约已然破裂。如今孙权出兵荆州，意欲将其纳入囊中。主公义弟关羽力挫孙吴，而主公则西拒曹操。如今关羽大人身陷重围，若不能突破重重埋伏，恐难全身而退。
果然不出所料，我军势穷，贼军势大，但我军岂能落于敌军之后？吕蒙会伏兵于林中，四面杀出，我军必须固守，顶住敌军的猛攻。众位将士，关某别无他求，只愿诸军坚守奋战，将宵小之辈一举击退。若是我等兵败于此，恐怕汉家延祚亦将息于此地。 主公壮志未酬，汉家天下未平，我等切不可葬身于此。
My camera always gets stuck at the start of this battle, takes a second to get that shit sorted out. So, 4 units of cavalry here, 2 generals, 2 mercenary cavalry. So I'm putting the mercenary cavalry on wedge, and I'm trying to just meet them with charges head on, because we have 4 units of really high charge bonus cavalry, and they've only got 2 units of cavalry, 3 swords and a bow unit, so we have a hard counter to everything that's there. So all we have to do really is get effective charges and deny them effective charges, and it seems like we did that because their 2 cavalry units got stuck on their swords. It's kind of an RNG random thing, but it went really perfectly here. So there's Guan Yu there who ended up on the face of that sword unit, and then we pulled him off to the right, and he got another charge bonus off onto the middle. And that's kind of what you want to do here. You want to chain your charges together because they don't need any run up. Like, the charge bonus activates upon the command being given within range, so it's not like Shogun 2 where you have to charge up the... You have to actually like take a run up to get momentum and then the charge bonus happens. In this, it's like a scripted event where if the charge criteria are met, then the cavalry unit is now mowing everything down in its path on its way to the target that you've assigned. So yeah, look at that champion there, the toughest unit in that fight. He only got 8 kills because he was denied effective charges. I think he got a partial charge on one of the mercenary cavalry who are kind of soft. But we just routed all of them, 3 units of swords, 2 cavalry units and a bow unit, and that was just by chaining charges together with 4 units of cavalry. So we got 4 300 charge bonuses at least twice, and that melted all 6 units pretty much, so that makes sense. Especially with a morale debuff from the fire arrows. Now we've got a river that has a split in the middle, so there's a little bit of land in the middle of that river, but that's quite a lot of water to wade through, to traverse, to get to my line over here. So I've got Azure Dragons guarding the banks, and I'm going to put them into mixed missile and start firing arrows at the worthwhile targets over there. Then I've got 2 units of spear guards here and spear circle, and that's mostly to reflect or absorb the charges of the cavalry that's going to be coming down off the hill. Oh, there's pieces of units coming back, but I don't think we have to worry about those. So they have a unit of heavy tiger and leopard cavalry, and that's probably the most potent unit on the battlefield. And they also have like 3 units of Pearl Dragons, who are definitely like... if they get up to our spear circles, they will do a lot of damage, so we have to try and meet them with cavalry head on and block those charges, and then let them just stumble into the melee against the spears, and then hopefully we can get them pinned like that and then psycho charge. So there's a general coming down here. There's definitely a lot of cavalry to deal with. It's like 2 units of cavalry coming down the hill and then 2 coming across the river, I think. So what I'm trying to do here is use this Azure Dragons to soften up that vanguard that's coming through the water, and then I'm hiding all my units behind the spear circle here to try and bait a charge that's going to be reflected by the spear circle. And then once that happens, we can try and circle around the circle, see what I did there, and get some really effective charges into the flank. So that unit was only going to get kills on us if it scored an effective charge, and it's been completely denied. It's now bogged down on a melee, easy pickings for a decent flank. So it got 1 kill and it's already stuck in a melee, perfect. Couldn't really go any better in those terms. And then there's this vanguard here. He is really a problem. If he was to get a charge into those axemen there, they would just melt, they would dissolve. So I'm doing something pretty clutch here. I'm reshaping my line to prevent any kind of a possibility of a good charge into my axes, or indeed even the cavalry. So we just blocked these 2 units of cavalry here. That one's got 3 kills, the sentinel has 3 kills and he's about to rout. And that's good because then we can just pull through him and get into position on the vanguard. And he's only got 6 kills and he's about to get 2 units of wedge flank charging him. And then we can send in Guan Yu and the champion as well, just to make sure we're using everything that we've got at our disposal to deal with the only threat that we're facing right now. Here come the Pearl Dragons and the Tiger and Leopard cavalry down off the hill. This is the crucial moment. We don't want to get our axes into a fight here with these Pearl Dragons. That would be like a last resort. Ideally, to use these axes properly, we would just charge a unit in the flank that's about to break so that it doesn't get exposed to any aggression, because 240 men in a unit, even a good fight, they'll start to be whittled down and take a lot of casualties, and I want to finish this battle with as few casualties as possible. Like, just in terms of the flat number of men that I lose, I want to keep it really, really low. That's the metric. So here comes the enveloping. We've got the Tiger and Leopard cavalry going straight for the spear wall, or maybe a unit behind it and totally missing and hitting the spear wall, because it just got charge reflected. Even though it got some kills, it was charge reflected. And then there's that piece of a unit coming, the champion there. And the Pearl Dragons have blobbed up, so there's 3 of them. And they're now getting stuck on 1 unit of spear guards and spear circle. So they're not exposing themselves to my line well. They're not going to be getting into many fights and making the most of their high damage and high melee evasion, so that's what we want. We want to just postpone the fight or deny them it completely while we get our cavalry into position and start slamming into them. So that's 2 units of wedge hitting that unit right in the flank, and we've also got the 2 units of swords coming across the river. They're really weak, so we can kind of pull off a swap here. But before that, I gave a charge through command where we were in the middle of a fucking melee. We were in a unit's face and wedge fighting it after the charge bonus had subsided, and then I gave another charge order to the unit that was right beside it, and it reset the charge bonus and sent it into the unit it was currently fighting, so yeah, it's ridiculous. Because that unit had 2 other units behind it, we got to charge it again for free. It's kind of absurd how that works, but I make use of that in this fight a lot. Good circumstances here for a ping pong, so I'm in a melee there with the 2 sword units that have just came across the river, and I can now give charge orders on the Pearl Dragons that are on the other side. So even though I'm fighting on 2 fronts here, and I'm enveloped, I can kind of use that to my advantage if I was to just ping pong between the fronts with the cavalry. It's quite absurd how that works, but it's really effective. The axes have not been involved, as your dragons haven't had any melee. The spear circles are relatively intact, lost 80 men on one of them, other one's relatively untouched, and the cavalry have just been charging this entire time, and we've melted all of the melee infantry. So we did a pretty good job of keeping them away from our infantry. They can fight our cavalry all day and not do that much damage, and whatever damage they do, it's against units that are mounted, so there's only 60 men in a unit, very tanky, so we won't even take that many losses in terms of the pure numbers of it. So look at that, we won. We have won. There's 2 units left and they're about to rout, and yeah, there they go. The only spear units they had never even made it to the fight. So we lost less than 200. Less than 200 against an army of 3,000. That is unheard of, that's absurd. 178 losses to take out 3,000 because we used cavalry so well. Heroic victory 2. Seems appropriate to finish this series on a heroic victory. 2 of them on the bounce as well. Not bad. If you appreciate what I do and would like to support me while I continue, you can do that on my Patreon page. Thanks to all my patrons, with special thanks to Matteo Olivetti.